Are you ignoring your YouTube About Me page on YouTube? Or maybe you don't even know what that even is. If that's you, you're missing out on so many algorithm benefits and even subscribers if you either haven't written one or if you haven't even included the most important elements in there. Today, we're gonna go over everything a good YouTube About Me page should actually include and how it all helps your channel to get found and reach more of your perfect potential clients on YouTube. Hey Big Shots, my name is Daniel and I help coaches like you nail a solid strategy with your YouTube videos so that you can turn the viewers that you are getting into paying clients on autopilot, even if you have a small YouTube channel. So if you want more tips and strategies for building your coaching business using YouTube that's actually fueling your business with leads, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so that you never miss another video. Now let's talk about your YouTube About Me page, also known as your YouTube channel description. It's just a page that viewers can visit on your channel that's supposed to tell them what your channel is actually all about. And it's something that a lot of people can overlook in the process of setting up their YouTube channel for their coaching business. But just like with every other step in the optimization process, it's so extremely important to do that because it's another one of those really small things that can make a huge difference in two key factors with your strategy for getting actual leads for your coaching business from YouTube. So let's talk about factor number one though, and that is people being able to find your channel easier on YouTube. It affects this because it's what I call an optimization step, which means it works in combination with all of the other optimization steps you take to actually set up your channel. So when you've done this step, the algorithm will use the keywords you give it here in tandem with your channel keywords to put your content exactly where it should be on YouTube. And it will also see your channel as legit and raise it higher in the search results of that category. Oh, and by the way, setting up your channel to get found is only one part of a successful lead generation strategy on YouTube. If you want to know my exact strategy for getting the right kind of views on your YouTube channel and turning those views that you're getting into leads for your business every day, make sure to click the card up here and get the free guide which outlines all of it. And factor number two that the About page helps with is evoking enough interest for visitors to subscribe or actually keep watching. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory, but if not, you'll be able to see why a lot better as we go. So let's dive into what a good About page actually includes and why. For starters, you should know that the first 120 characters of your YouTube About Me page are seriously prime real estate. So tip number one is craft the first couple lines with intentional care. Now this is something a lot of coaches don't realize, but your channel description is actually what shows up anywhere online where your channel is actually displayed. Like if it shows up in YouTube search or Google search, or even if you just use a subscribe card in your own video, which makes this super important that these first couple lines are like an eye-catching headline. So you don't want someone to read those first couple lines, get super bored, and then click away. That means you've got to put a little extra effort into writing these first couple lines with the goal of getting them to actually click on your channel. If they do, you've earned the opportunity to tell a channel visitor a little more about what you do, which significantly raises your chances of converting that visitor into a subscriber or even a viewer if they're not already. And obviously you don't want to write these lines as clickbait. You really want to get their attention, but in a way that's focused on them. So there's three things I recommend to help you do that. First, call out your target audience or ideal client and identify your channel as for them as soon as possible. And you can even do that by naming who they are outright if you want to. Or you can make it a little more subtle, inserting a qualifying adjective like, are you drowning in student debt? You can also just imply who your channel is actually for by including the second thing, which is you want to make sure that your very first sentence is pitching the value of your channel and your business by telling them what outcomes you actually want to help them achieve or the benefits of that outcome. So that will help them know if your channel has something that they want and help them decide for themselves whether it's actually for them. And since this is for your coaching business, you really want to do this for your ideal client. So for example, do you want to have your kids behave better without turning you into a rage spewing monster when they don't listen to you? The third thing to really pay attention to is using searchable keywords in these lines, especially ones that you also have as channel keywords. By the way, remember channel keywords? A couple of weeks ago, we went over how to choose the best keywords for your channel. So if you haven't chosen some strategic ones yet, be sure to go back and watch that video first, because you're gonna use these same keywords that we chose in that last video in your YouTube About Me page. I'll link that video right up here so that you can do that. The reason you wanna use searchable keywords here should be pretty obvious, especially if you watched last week's video. You want your channel to show up in search results when your target audience searches something in your niche on YouTube, especially if they use the channel filter. Having some strategic keywords in the first couple lines that your target audience might actually be searching for is going to greatly increase your chances of ranking for that specific keyword. Even more so if they're also in your channel keywords. Because really the algorithm will cross-reference your about page with those channel keywords and pick up on the fact that your channel content is intentional and consistent. So it's really not just the first couple lines here for keywords. If you want your about page to be as effective as possible, your best bet really is to use as many keywords from your niche as you can all throughout it. But you can't just insert the keywords at random or spam a ton of them down there. I mean, seriously, who likes spam? It's disgusting. You need to thoughtfully include them in natural, grammatically correct sentences, just like you'd use in everyday conversation. Otherwise, both people and the algorithm will be able to tell that you're just spamming keywords, and your channel will get docked for that. Trust me, it happens. And keep in mind, the higher priority for these first couple lines is really getting their attention first. So don't stress if you really just can't get your keywords to fit in here. Just try to naturally include as many keywords as you can in the rest of your about page, and that will still help your channel's ranking overall. With this framework in mind, let's take a look at my channel as an example. Okay, so you can see my first two sentences here: trying to get leads on YouTube for your coaching business, want to get views on YouTube that easily turn into paying clients even with a tiny channel. So my target audience is experienced coaches and consultants. I'm calling them out by actually using the phrase "for your coaching business," as well as letting them know what value I can provide them, which is helping them get leads from YouTube or get views on YouTube that turn into actual paying clients. I've also incorporated the third element in these two simple sentences. There are two pretty searchable keywords in here that are also two of my channel keywords. And maybe you can even guess what they are, but the key is they don't feel out of place. They totally belong in those sentences. In fact, comment down below and let me know if you think you may know actually what my channel keywords are in these first two lines. All right, so moving on to what should go in the rest of your YouTube About page is tip number 2. Introduce yourself with some authority building and with something relevant if you can. So obviously at some point, it's really a good idea to tell them your name so they actually know exactly who you are. But at the same time, establishing your credibility is so important because it lets them know what experience or training you have that qualifies you to give them advice about these specific topics. So there are lots of ways you can actually do this. It could be mentioning how many clients you've actually helped achieve X result, or maybe how many years of experience you have in that specific field, maybe as seen on X or Y media outlet or podcast, whether you've authored a book, etc. It could be anything really, as long as it really helps them see that you know what you're actually talking about. In mine, for example, I did this by simply mentioning some of my channel stats and lead stats, and later on I also mentioned I have clients who learn from me. That lets people really know that I'm actually qualified to talk about lead generation with a small YouTube channel because I'm already doing it, and I'm already doing it and helping others do the exact same thing, which can go a long way. Okay, so tip number 3, at some point you want to specifically describe what your channel is actually all about. What kind of content do your videos actually include? What's the goal that all your videos can help the viewer actually achieve? Even though you basically already did this in the beginning, you really want to explain it again in very clear and specific terms, so there's actually no doubt in their mind about it. And again, you want to make sure that you're framing your channel's value for them. Make the benefits of actually watching your YouTube videos obvious for them. Okay, so tip number 4 is pretty easy. I really recommend letting them know what your posting schedule is. You can write it as a list or a bullet point or even just a note somewhere with an asterisk if you want. This will not only help set their expectations about how often you actually post, but it will also help you because more people will be aware of when you post, which gives them an option to actually watch your videos on the day they actually post. And trust me, you want more people to watch your videos on the day that they post so that the algorithm will actually raise them to more people. Think of it more like a TV guide where you're setting expectations about when your specific show is going to be on TV. So be sure to like this video down below if you're actually getting some good ideas for actually how to write the best YouTube About Me page for your channel. So tip number 5 is to include a call to action at the end. This can be inviting them to actually subscribe or directing them to your website, offering a free download or training, whatever you actually want to do. The important thing is to actually give them an action to take for going just a little bit deeper in your community. Now you can see in mine that I've included a couple different ones, but I've included them in different places that they're relevant and useful for them. So I'm not just spamming calls to action in there or listing all of my social media links. And that's what I'd really recommend for you to do, is do what you feel is going to work best for your people and for your business. The great thing is you can always change this later if you decide it's actually not working for you. Let's look at some examples here, because I've seen so many YouTube About Me pages that have really fallen flat in these specific categories. And I can guarantee you it's not only costing them views, but it's also costing them subscribers and also potential clients for their business. Let's say I'm on YouTube and I'm looking for a good channel about maybe life coaching to help me improve my life. So I do YouTube search with the channel filter, and this is what I've come up with. So I've got Advanced Life Coaching with Don Torkelson, Mark Smith, Family Tree Life Coaching, Lisa A. Romano, Breakthrough Life Coach Incorporated. So you can see what I'm talking about when I say the first 2 lines matter, because very few of these probably capture your attention and make you want to actually click through. So under Mark Smith's, if you just look at it, it says Mark E. Smith, MSW, is the founder and director of Family Tree Life Coaching. Honestly, as soon as I started reading this, I just said, I don't care. But if Mark were to actually jump into this and to make this a little better, he could use some of those tips that we talked about earlier just to alter this a little bit. You got to show basically right away what value you're willing to provide for this person if they want to subscribe to the channel. Looking at Lisa's down here, it says Lisa Romero is a life coach, best-selling author, and one of the most listened to meditation teachers on Insight Timer. Basically, both these people are really jumping to providing authority, but they aren't really talking about, before they provide that authority, what their channel is actually going to do for that person if they come and subscribe to it, because you're not going to really care about the authority if you don't know, well, what am I going to get out of this channel? You know what I mean? Why should I even care about your authority? That's why you've got to bypass all the boring introductions to immediately frame the conversation around like what value you're actually going to provide for them. And then once you've got their attention, they actually might be interested in knowing what authority you do have, or what your name actually is. And hopefully you can see that if you actually do follow these steps I'm giving you, you're going to be miles ahead of any other YouTube coach with getting the attention from the right viewers or your ideal clients and having them actually subscribe to your email list or subscribe to your channel to keep watching your videos. But honestly, guys, it's really not gonna matter how many YouTube views or subscribers this YouTube About Me page actually brings in if you don't have actually a solid system in place for automatically converting those viewers into paying clients. And so big shots, if you actually want to know my exact strategy for getting the right kind of views on YouTube and turning those views into leads for your coaching business every day, that's exactly what you're going to get in this free guide that I created to help you actually turn the YouTube views that you are getting into paid clients. So be sure to click the link right here or in the description down below to get that free guide before you go. That's all for now, big shots. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Or I can't say that word. Or spam a ton of them in there. Who eats spam, by the way? That's disgusting.
Spam.
Spam, ugh.